Spectrovision Radio.
There was this big wooded area that ran alongside the fence line of the school. I just thought this really did freak me out. It was like a big black mass moving through the wood, but it had an eye. Its eye was what I could really see quite clearly. And it just moved through the wood, and I just ran off. But I can remember being absolutely petrified by this thing. It was just a huge black shape. It was probably as tall as a house. In my child mind, I would have described it as a monster.
They claim that our eyes were just either slightly different from what they are. When we talk, we see things are not normal.
Welcome to Strange Familiars. Allison?
Yes?
How are you this afternoon?
I'm okay.
I should say tonight because most people will be listening. I don't know, maybe most people listen during the day. Who knows? But we're recording in the afternoon. So, good afternoon to you, Allison.
Thank you.
On tonight's show, I'm going to be talking to Linda, who has a Flannel Man that she saw twice in two different places, many years apart. Apparently the same guy. Also, a giant black form she saw as a child, which she just called a monster. Sounds pretty monstery.
Mm-hmm.
An out-of-body experience. She heard this ethereal kind of unearthly music. We get some reports of that every now and then. Nighttime visitors and more. And we'll get to Linda in a bit. Before that, though, I want to thank everyone who came out to Albatwitch Day. What a great day. I mean, Albatwitch Day is always great, but this year just was a lot of fun.
It was, I think, because John and Chad showed up to help you, and it wasn't just me.
Yeah, like special thanks to John and Chad. Those guys worked all day for nothing, just to help me out. It was a great day. Great to see everybody. I want to thank Abby. She gave me a Leonard Cohen book that I did not already have. What a sweet gift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Super nice.
I got to talk to a lot of people. I mean, I would list them, but then I would forget somebody and feel badly about it. So I don't.
I gave a talk, and then the person who was going to give a talk later in the afternoon canceled, and they said, "Will you talk again?" And Chad and I gave a talk together, which was really fun and just off the cuff. We were literally walking to the tent. What do you want to talk about? I don't know. Let's talk about our pandemonium experience, and we just riffed, and it was great. It's great. Chad's really good at that. He's really good. He's a good salesman too.
Yeah, he was really.
He's really helping us out.
He had the like. I don't have that kind of sort of
outgoing. It's sort of outgoingness.
Yeah. That I just don't. I don't like. What can I do to get you into one of these Strange Familiars books today?
But it was a wonderful time, and I want to thank everybody who came out again. Albatwitch Day.
And Soraya as well.
Soraya, yes, absolutely. Soraya came down, and over at Where Did the Road Go, you'll be able to hear Soraya and I recorded a show, and then we did a really long patron segment for his patrons, and that'll just be on his channel. And it was a really good conversation. And I feel like it's great when we have the roundtables and stuff, but for a first time in a long time, it allowed Soraya and I just to sit down together. I don't know, it felt really good, like to sort of reconnect, as friends and stuff. It was just... I think that was part of it too. It was just such a great day, like all of it.
Well, I think it's like just any day where you're around people and there's like just a generally like a feeling of like togetherness or it's such it's so strange to be in a group of people where there's like no adversity and nobody's particularly like fighting about anything. And I don't know anybody else's particular politics or anything like that. Didn't ask, didn't come up kind of thing. But we just like all got along. Like, it's just nice to have like one-on-one conversations with people you've never met before.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't be an anomalous situation. It shouldn't seem like this really rare thing to just strike up a conversation with a virtual stranger.
Yeah. One of the first people of the day that came up to us saw my hermit book, and she said, my uncle was a hermit. I'm going to see if we can get her on the show to tell her uncle's story. We'll see. It was fascinating local hermit story, but absolutely fascinating. again, thanks to everybody who came out. Just what a great day. We do have new t-shirts that we got at the last minute, thanks to Forest Passage Printing. Best silkscreen printer I've ever worked with. Does fantastic work.
The clarity is really amazing compared to other t-shirts we've had done.
So I've used some other printers, like Forest Passage was busy at some point, and they do fine work, but the detail just isn't there. Like Forest Passage, he just gets the detail, and maybe he just understands how to work with my artwork or something, but I love the way he does our shirts. So at the last minute, I didn't think we were going to have t-shirts, and he got them to us overnight at the last minute. So we do have new Strange Familiars t-shirts. Swamp Creature. I'm lately obsessed with swamp creatures, so it's my swamp creature design. Check it out. That's new at Etsy. I'll put links in the show notes to that. And of course, we have other t-shirts left, other designs and so forth.
But we are running kind of low on some of them.
Yeah, some of the designs are running low. So
and some we're not going to reprint. So if there's
I keep the logo, the Awoken Tree, in print. The other ones, I might reprint.
To just do a new one.
Yeah, I might reprint the Eyes of Night in blue because it's just so striking. But beyond that, grab the designs while you can. Like that Black Dog design on white, we're probably not reprinting that. At least not anytime soon. That Mothman t-shirt, we're probably not reprinting that. So now's the time to grab them once they're done. Even the Swamp Creature, I mean, we have plenty right now. At this point, I think we have all sizes small through 2XL. 3XL is sold out in the Swamp Creature. But when that sells out, we probably won't reprint it. We'll do another design. And speaking of the Swamp Creature design, we're going to do zipper hoodies. It's been a while since we've done zipper hoodies. We're going to do zipper hoodies with that design on them, but it's going to be pre-order only. I will put the pre-orders up this week. They might be up already by the time you hear this. If you want one, make sure to pre-order one. They're expensive. We're not going to make many extras. I might make a couple extra in large and a couple extra in extra large. That's it. So if you want to make sure you get one, or if you want extended sizes, please pre-order. Because every time we do this, they sell out quickly and people say, oh, I really wanted one. They're expensive. We can only afford to print so many up. So if you want to make sure you get one, please pre-order. Look for that pre-order. Again, if I have it done by the time the show airs, I'll put a link in the show notes. We'll go ahead and get to Linda now. But when we come back, I'll tell everybody about a UFO I saw last night. I'd like to welcome Linda to Strange Familiars. How you doing?
I'm doing very good, thank you, Tim. Lovely to be here.
Yes, and by your accent, I'm going to say that you're not from America, from my usual draw of witnesses here.
No, but I've visited many times, and I'm one of those people, I pick up on accents very quickly.
Oh, really?
My sister lives in the States, so I'm quite familiar with different areas of the States, yeah.
So, where are you calling from? You don't have to be exact. Just give us a rough idea.
Well, I'm in a tiny little rural village on the edge of the world as I know it. I step out my door and into the North Sea. It's a very remote part of Essex. So okay. I am an Essex girl, which is a great county.
All right. And the experiences you're going to tell us about, do they all happen there, roughly, or there?
No, not at all. No. In fact, so the main ones that drew my attention to your podcast was the Flannel Man, and I have had two of those experiences, and they happened 70 miles apart.
Interesting. Okay, I'm excited to get them. We haven't had a lot of Flannel Man recently, so you can start wherever you want. If you want to start with the Flannel Man, or if you want to go with your other experiences and work into the Flannel Man, whatever makes sense.
Well, I'll start with Flannel Man because he's so benign. Well, that was my experience of him anyway. So I was staying at my mum's in her little cottage, which is like a 17th century cottage, very old. But I was staying in the new part, was the extension that was built for my dad. So it was downstairs. She was away in New Zealand. So I was sleeping in her bed, and I woke up. It was just dawn because the light was just coming in, and I'd woke up with a bit of a start, and there was this guy. He just walked through the bedroom and then disappeared through the outside wall.
Wow.
It was just bizarre. And I was shocked. I don't think I was scared as such. It wasn't sort of heart pounding. It was just shocking because it was like, he looked so real.
Mm-hmm.
He looked very solid, but he just walked through the wall. He strode past my bed, basically. I mean, I must have literally woke up just as he entered the bedroom, and he strode past my bed, looking very purposeful. He was looking down as if he had something in his hands. I couldn't see if he did or not, but he was like he had a phone or something in his hand, looking down at it quite purposefully.
Mm-hmm.
And he was striding very purposefully as well, so going quite quickly. He was about average height, a white guy, dark, short hair, and he had on very large dark blue checked flannel shirt and faded denims. And I'm like, whoa, what was that? It just freaked me out a bit because I'd been deeply immersed in some very esoteric material leading up to that point, so I guess I was open to it at the time. I don't know.
When you say you were deeply immersed, now, is this sort of a lifetime interest, or was this a specific, intense period of interest that you were having around this event?
Interesting. So I would say I've always been interested in esoteric matters, but around that, because it was actually 2011, the tail end of 2011, and I'd become more serious about my studies, I guess you could say. And I'd started reading some Alice Bailey stuff, which was pretty heavy going, actually, particularly the language. So I hadn't really studied things in that kind of depth before.
Okay. So a little of both.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So the next one, it was last year.
Okay.
And I'd moved to this flat, which is 70 miles away from my mum's. There's a 15-year time lapse. And again, I woke up early hours of the morning. The sun was just beginning to come through. I could see it through the curtains. This time my bed's in a different position. So the guy was like walking towards me through the wall, my outside wall, towards me as I lay in bed. And then he disappeared through the wall behind me.
Okay. So he sort of walked beside you, in a sense.
Yeah, he walked right beside me.
Wow.
I would say about a foot and a half away from me. But again, he didn't seem to see me, and he was really intently concentrated on what he was doing. Again, it looked like he had something in his hand, and he was looking down at it.
Wow.
Just paying attention to that.
Yeah.
And again, he strode through quite quickly and quite purposefully. And it was the same being.
Okay, I was going to ask.
It looked exactly the same.
Appeared to be the same person or whatever. Yeah, if we call him a person, whatever. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Did he look like... So how many years was it between?
15 years.
Did he look like he aged at all?
No, he looked exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Wow. Okay, so this is very, very interesting to me. Did he look towards your direction at all? No. Either time? No.
No, he was looking down intently at whatever he had before him in his hands.
Okay. And before finding out about the Flannel Man phenomenon in general, did you just think this was just some kind of ghost or something like that? It
didn't feel to me. I just had a knowing that it wasn't a ghost. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel like a ghost. I've come across ghosts before, and it didn't have that same energy. It was completely different.
Interesting.
His appearance was very solid, even though he disappeared through a wall and came through a wall. Mm-hmm. There was something about his energy. He wasn't scary, because I am frightened of ghosts. They freak the life out of me. He wasn't scary in that way, but there was just something about it that was completely different from any ghostly experiences I've had in the past, and I have had a few. So, yeah, it was a different energy entirely.
Interesting. That's so interesting. So, at what point did you find out that other people had seen, similar entities?
Well, it's interesting because I belong to a community online, which are really people that are very interested in esoteric matters, particularly magical arts and that kind of thing. And I posted about it, asking if anybody's had a similar experience. And one of the other members said, "Oh, you ought to get in touch with Tim at Strange Familiars because he's got episodes on this phenomena."
Wow.
I said, "Oh, wow, that's amazing." And that's why I reached out to you.
So I'm not sure. How many did you listen to? Did you listen to a bunch of them?
Yeah, I think I'm 2 or 3.
Okay. In any of those, I often go over it, but I like to tell people who have experienced this. Did you hear my wife's account?
No,
okay.
I didn't hear your voice account.
So this is what introduced me to it. So I did not see him, whatever this was. And my wife, deeply skeptical, like a deep skeptic. This is when we were dating. We spent the night at her parents' house, slept in her old bedroom where, she slept in as a child. And she wakes me up screaming in the middle of the night. And without even thinking, I just sort of said, it's okay, don't worry about it. I didn't even open my eyes. I was tired, and I thought after that, you open your eyes and look around first. There might be a reason, that she's screaming. But in any case, she says that there was a man standing at our feet, and he had a red buffalo plaid shirt on, beard, looked like I don't know if you have brawny paper towels over there, the brawny man. It was like a lumberjack, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And she said she doesn't actually remember if he was holding an axe or if he looked so much like a lumberjack, she sort of put an axe in his hands in her memory. But she wasn't intimidated. She didn't feel like he was there to harm us. And she said she screamed because she was surprised that somebody was there, not that he looked like intimidating or anything. Mm-hmm. But she said the look on his face was that of surprise, like he was caught, like, oh, he saw me.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's such an interesting detail in her thing, which has come up again with a couple times with other witnesses, not just for Flannel Man, but some other entities as well. In any case, years go by. This was in the 90s or something, and I stumbled onto some online forum about ghosts or haunted things or something. People were talking about this Flannel Man phenomena. I didn't name it. It was around before Strange Familiars. I just started talking about it, and people, sent in their encounters. So we kind of became the hub for it, I guess. We're collecting all we can. But this was one of the things that helped her move from that sort of hard skeptic, you're all crazy, to like, oh wait, maybe there's something. So when I told her, I said, even you've seen something. For years I didn't tell her this because she can be scared easily. She still sleeps with the light on, not because of that, but because of stuff from her childhood to this day. So I was like, I don't want to scare her. I'm not going to tell her. But as we're moving into the podcast, I'm going to say, like, even you've experienced something. I tell her this, and then we get these other stories. So she starts hearing all these other stories come in of people experiencing similar things. That was one of the two things that kind of moved her to what I call like an honest skepticism, where she's more like, well, okay, I don't know what people are seeing, but they're seeing something. I was like, okay, that is, I'll accept that, rather than you're all crazy. But yeah, so it's been an interesting journey for sure. But I didn't get to see him. I kind of like wish I had. But it might not have been for me. It might have been for her for whatever reason. I might.
Yes, yeah. Well, it sounds like it had an effect.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and it took years, but it sort of moved her in a more open-minded direction. Let's say that. What I feel is a more open-minded direction than she was. So maybe that was part of the purpose. Who knows?
Yeah, in a gentle way.
Yeah. So, do you have any feelings of what that entity might be, or?
No.
Yeah.
That's why I posted the question on this online platform, because I thought, well, all these people are into this sort of thing. Somebody must know.
Sure. Yeah.
So I guess, I thought it was interesting because a couple of the episodes, I think there was some alluding to, well, maybe they're like angelic beings or something, and
yeah,
that's the reason why they're dressed so plainly. It's kind of in clothes that wouldn't put them out of place anywhere.
Right. But we've had everything from benign accounts to pretty terrifying accounts where they've been pretty intimidating and pretty scary for people. Everywhere in between. So it's, I don't know. Part of me,
because I hadn't heard those episodes with the scary accounts.
Yeah, there are fewer. I want to say the vast majority seem to be kind of indifferent. He's just there. He. I say he. It's by description. It's more than one fella people are describing, and even we've had some flannel women as well. I believe we had one from Australia, so a flannel woman. But the way people were describing it seems to be more than one individual, whatever they are, by description. But, the majority of the encounters seem to be indifferent. He's just there. People are surprised because he's in their house. They'll wake up to get a glass of water and here's a guy, in the living room or whatever. They're surprised, but the entity seems very indifferent to them, So yes. Who knows?
Well, what comes to my mind as you're talking, and this hadn't crossed my mind before, but I'm thinking, some kind of ET's on a fact-finding mission, and that's why he was so intent on what he was doing and wasn't really interested in me.
Maybe. Is he interested in you? Or assigned to you? Like, I'm not trying to be creepy, but, is that why you've seen him twice? And then are there times that he's around that you're not seeing him?
Possibly. Yeah. Possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. So I don't think we're going to crack the code on Flannel Man, but it's a fun exercise to sort of bat around ideas and see what people think.
It's just so fascinating that there's so many people who have had such a similar experience.
Yeah. And I thought it was, at first I thought this is a very American thing, because of the lumberjack and all that. But we've had UK accounts. We've had accounts from Australia. We've had accounts from, I think, Northern Europe. I'm trying to remember what country, but somewhere up there. So it's international. It's definitely Canada too. So it's definitely an international phenomenon. So, what does it mean?
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's maybe over time we can put something together and figure out at least part of it. Like, I don't think part of the whole thing with all this stuff is I would love the answers. I don't think we get the answers.
No.
I think we have part of it is living with the mystery, and that might be part of the interest in it as well. That's,
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So you mentioned you had some other experiences.
Yeah. So some of them are pretty scary, actually, but I've had some nice ones too. So I don't know how esoteric you want to get.
Let's go for it. Let's see what we got here.
Okay. How about if I start off in chronological order?
That's
then?
perfect.
So I'll start off with my earliest memory, because I was only about 4 years old when this happened, but I was in bed and I did have the mumps. So maybe, I did have a bit of a fever, but my recollection is I was actually getting over it. And I was hearing this music, which was the most beautiful music. I've never heard anything like it since. I can't say it was classical because it was so beautiful, but it was like nothing on earth.
Wow.
And I called it the music of the spheres. There was something just so ethereal and beautiful about it. And that's really one of my first memories of something sort of otherworldly, if you like. But as I say, I had been ill, so maybe I was a little bit delirious. I don't know, but it seemed very, very real to me. And, my memory's not that good because I am getting on, but that stuck with me. So for me,
were you again?
The fact that it stuck with me signals that it was significant.
Oh, sure. Yeah. About how old were you again?
4.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I have, a few memories of strange things going back. Maybe I have memories going back before then, but as far as like strange things, maybe 6 years old is where I start to like put things together. But yeah, I think they do tend to stick with you. That's, I've heard this ethereal thing around before. People have talked about this sort of ethereal music, in the woods. I've gotten accounts where people see orbs and they'll just hear this, ethereal music that they describe it very similarly. Very beautiful, very ethereal music. And it's like, well, tell me what it was like. They're like, they're like, it's beautiful. That's.
You just can't, just cannot explain it. It is otherworldly. That's
Interesting.
the only way to explain it.
Very interesting.
And then a few years later, so I guess I was around about 8 years old because I was in what we call junior school. And there was this big wooded area that ran alongside the fence line of the school. And there was this, I just saw this really did freak me out. It was like a big black mass moving through the wood, but it had an eye. And its eye was what I could really see quite clearly. And it just moved through the wood and I just ran off, just like really, really scared. I don't think I told anybody about it because I didn't think I would be believed.
Sure, yeah.
But I can remember being absolutely petrified by this thing. It was just a huge black shape.
Huh. Like any form to it at all? Like humanoid at all? Or
no, I mean, when I say huge, it was probably as tall as a house.
Wow.
It was certainly up there with the tree line and probably maybe half the size of a normal sort of average house. So it was a big,
that's
mass,
quite big,
basically.
And
I guess in my child mind, I would have described it as a monster.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think maybe in my adult mind, I would. If I saw that.
There was no real shape to it. It was just a dark mass.
And was
the eye was, but the eye I could see because it was like a side view. I could see one of its eyes.
Okay, almost like a profile.
Yeah.
And did it look like a normal biological eye for all intents and purposes?
No, it was eye shaped, but it was just like white. It was actually just like a light.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really, really scary.
Oh, I imagine so. Yeah.
And then, of course, I did the normal thing, around about 10, 11, playing with Ouija boards, which is not a good thing to do. Right. Scarefests is what I now refer to them as. It's absolutely ridiculous. And some quite spooky things happened, but I don't recall them very well. I think I blocked those out of my memory because they did freak me out a bit.
Yeah, we always mention that it's not so much the boards, it's what's on the other side, Yeah,
it's the weird things that happen after. Yeah.
Because, I've had people, I won't even have one of those in my house. I'm like, I mean, come on, it's just a board until you start using it. It's what you don't know that you're talking to on the other side that can be the problem. Yeah.
I was very into reading horror stories in my early teens, so round about 13. And some of them are really, I shouldn't have been reading them because I scared the living daylights out of myself with them. But I guess it's just something you do at that age. I don't know. But I had a really freaky experience that it was so frightening. It really was. So this was, let's say I was just coming into puberty, 13, when you're quite attractive, it would seem to these entities that aren't that nice. Mm-hmm. And I was in bed one night and this thing, I woke up and it was like this energy, this being was trying to get inside of me. And I knew it was trying to get inside of me. And it was weird because I saw myself, I rose up out of the bed, but I was watching myself. It was like I was detached from myself. I watched myself rise up out of the bed and looked down at myself in the bed. And I just went F word off, screamed at this thing. And the next thing I know, I'm on the floor. So it was a bunk bed. It was a top bunk bed. Mm. And it had literally pushed me out of bed, whatever it was. And I'd landed on the floor.
Wow.
Now that absolutely, I stopped reading horror books after that. That really did frighten me.
Yeah. One of the most terrifying things about these, and John Keel called them bedroom invaders. That sounds a little, I call them nighttime invaders. Although they, they're not restrained to nighttime only, but they tend to happen, when people are asleep. And I put the so-called gray aliens, I don't believe they're aliens at all. The grays, I put them in the same category. Some of these things seem somehow able to pull you out of body.
Mm.
And that is terrifying. I had experiences with those things. I don't believe I was taken aboard a ship and taken anywhere. I call them abduction experiences for shorthand. That's just because that's what everybody refers to them as. But I do believe I was pulled out of my body. And that to me is in a way more frightening than being physically taken. The fact that these things can sort of pull you out of body. And I don't know if that's exactly what happened to you, but to me, that's a particularly frightening experience. Because like, wait a minute. Because my problem with them is the whole consent thing. You know, a lot of people say, well, it's a shamanic experience. You just have to go through it. It's like, come to me and talk to me. And then we'll have a conversation about whether I want to go through this or not. Because there's no consent there. So I'm against it for that reason. But in any case, a friend of mine had a very similar story. It was a hag that came into his room, and he was beside himself, watching himself and watching her try to touch him. So again, I've heard this out of body thing where you're watching your own body. Which is bizarre. And I mean, and especially as a teenager, that must have been kind of a mess with your head a bit.
It did. I mean, it was the most scariest thing. It was incredibly scary. I can't tell you how scary it was, but the thing that really intrigues me about it is, so yes, I was watching myself, but I also had the wherewithal, the knowledge to rise up out of myself, because I was watching myself rising up out of myself, looking down at my body, and screamed to this thing.
Right.
Now, I had somewhere the know-all to do that,
right?
You know, and also the wherewithal to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's the thing that surprises me about it. I think it was like, whoa, how did I even know to do that?
Yeah, but good for you. Yeah, I probably the right thing to do. So when you woke up on the floor,
I guess, did I wake up on the floor? Was I already awake?
Right.
But I was shoved. I literally tumbled off the bed.
Right. I guess what I'm getting at is, so you're almost in three beings. In other words, you're watching yourself. You're watching yourself above yourself and your body laying in bed. Do all three of these beings come back together essentially when you hit the floor?
Yeah, okay. On the floor with a bump. Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was imagining. Wow. Yeah, that's an intense one.
It was. Yeah.
And did you see whatever it was that was trying to, or you just felt it?
No, I felt it. Mm-hmm. There was no visuals at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt awful. I mean, it really did. It really was repugnant. You know, it was not a good energy at all.
Yeah, for sure. And again, consent issue. How about having a conversation with me before you jump in my body?
Well, I'd been reading a really scary book the week before, and it was about this entity possessing a girl. It wasn't The Exorcist. This was scarier than The Exorcist. Mm. It really was. It was a horrible book, actually. I don't know why I read it, but you know, I think when you read that kind of thing, you're kind of opening yourself up, especially at that age.
Mm. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really, really scary one. I'm going to juxtapose that with a lovely story.
Okay. All right.
So when I was around about 2021, I read Lord of the Rings for the first time. And I got through it in a week, all 3 books, because I was doing a 3-hour commute into London every day on the train. Mm-hmm. And I'm a bookworm anyway. So, you know, virtually half the night I'd be reading as well. So I managed to get through all 3 books in a week. So it was quite intense. And it was really funny how it happened. So the train drew into the station in the evening, and I just finished the last paragraph basically as a train drew into the station. And I got off the train and did my normal mile walk home. And as I was walking down the hill towards home, it was like this feeling came over me. It was so blissful. And it was like the world was pulsing and I could see everything. All the colours were just more vibrant. And I had such a feeling of hope and bliss in my heart. I'd never felt like that before. So blissed out completely.
Mm-hmm.
And I call that my first awakening because I felt connected to everything. I knew everything was connected. Everything just felt so right and so beautiful. And it was beautiful. Yeah. And that was Lord of the Rings that did that for me.
Tolkien, I really think that he has revealed, not just through Lord of the Rings, but through other writings, to me that like this guy was kind of plugged in. Like he really had a feeling for this stuff. He wrote a letter. I think it was a letter he wrote to C.S. Lewis, which has become a major part of my practice and interaction with what I call with the paranormal. And he said, I think people don't see fairies anymore because they don't eat from the land anymore. They're not eating local produce. They're having their produce shipped in, so they're not imbibing the natural area they are. And we have taken that. So we make tea from the land now. Wherever we go, like if we go to Indiana on a trip, first thing we do is gather wild edibles and make tea. We try to get local produce and eat that when we make our meals and so forth. I found it to be beneficial as far as interacting with the paranormal and having experiences.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And we kind of started doing it sort of out of, well, one of my partners, investigation partners, is a forager, so he does it anyway. But we realized it was working, so we sort of made this ritual out of it. But then I read that Tolkien letter that, again, I think was to C.S. Lewis, and I was like, oh, he was on it. He already figured it out, back then.
Oh, I'll have to look that up. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, he was a really interesting guy. Beyond the Lord of the Rings, just very, very interesting fellow. I
think I've read the book about 5 times now, and every time I read it, there's more depth to it. There's more layers to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and talk about world building and just in general, just I can't say enough things. He's just a fantastic person. He's that creating that sort of that new mythology. I would say mythology and folklore that he did. I think is a major part of what he did. They're just bringing that enchantment back to the world.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. No, amazing guy. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. So what else can I tell you about? Well, I can flip between the scary and the not so scary.
That's fine.
So as I referred to earlier, my mum's cottage is 17th century. Mm-hmm. So obviously there's been a few people that have lived there in the past. Yeah. And she has a particular bedroom upstairs, which is a small bedroom. And I went to live with her when I was about 30 because I needed to, because my job had fallen through and housing and stuff. So I went back home for a time being before I went off traveling. And I was staying in the back bedroom and I didn't like the bedroom. There was something about it. It was a cute little room, but there was just something about it I didn't like. And the dog didn't like the bedroom. It wouldn't go in there.
Interesting.
The family dog would stand at the doorway growling, basically. So, for me, that's a sign that maybe I shouldn't be sleeping.
Yeah. Yeah. Pets often pick up on things that we don't, for sure.
Well, it happened to me on several occasions, and I still continued to sleep there because I had no other place in the cottage to sleep in. But waking up through being lifted up off the mattress by something, that happened several times.
Wow.
And a couple of times it kind of lifted up the end of the bed, so the bed was at an angle. Mm-hmm. Not nice experiences at all.
No. So when you were lifted up, when you realized you were being levitated, did you get dropped or?
Do you know, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't recall. I think I must have as soon as I'm like, because it's like I wake up and it's happening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as soon as I wake up, it's like a letting go. But I can't remember very well at all.
Is it possible you fell back asleep?
No, I would turn the light on.
Okay.
I quite often sleep with the light on still.
No one blames you. My wife certainly does not blame you.
Well, I've taken it. I've got a lovely lapis, kind of, it's like a spear-shaped or dagger-shaped piece of lapis with a carved angel on the top, and it's Archangel Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And I now sleep with that on the bedside cabinet, and I tap it every night and say, thank you for keeping me safe night and day.
He's a good one.
Archangel Michael. I started doing that, and touch wood, so far it's working.
I mean, look, he's a guy. I was mumbling something. We were somewhere. Chad and I, my other investigation partners, one of my other, and there's a dark forest and things were getting creepy and noises were going on around us. And he says, "What are you mumbling over there?" And I was saying the St. Michael the Archangel prayer. I'm like, "We're going into battle, buddy. Like we're heading in there." I'm saying the St. Michael. So yeah, he's a good protector for this stuff.
Yeah. Certainly. I mean, I haven't had anything nasty happen to me since I've been doing that. I've had some weird, horrible dreams, but it's been dreams, you know, not actual nasty things. Because I went through a period where I made friends with this lady who called herself a psychic, and she'd sat in circle for a number of years, and I'd never done anything like that before. This was, again, going back to 2011, 2012. And she encouraged me to start channeling. So I was channeling by writing, not automatic writing, but just by, letting it come through and writing down what was coming through and stuff. And she got me into conversing with these beings, and I was led a dance. I mean, it was a 5-year period where gradually, as I got more used to it and understood what was going on, I could see what was going on with her. I mean, these entities were not who they were purporting to be, and they certainly didn't have the highest good at heart for us, because there was a lot of that manipulation, lying, but also that appealing to your ego with grandiose visions for you for the future and that sort of stuff, which I've since learned is a sure sign they're not who they're purporting to be.
Yeah.
You probably want to back off. But she'd been involved with them for a number of years, so she was she was an alcoholic, and they were encouraging that, It was just...
Yeah.
It wasn't a good vibe at all, but I was quite naive at that time. So I got involved with it, and I can remember waking up one night, and this being, and it was one of the beings, a female being that I was supposed to be channeling, and she was at the foot of my bed with a bunch of dwarfs doing something to my leg or my foot. And I've got no idea what they were doing, but I just told them to use the F word again.
Yeah.
And they kind of did just disappear.
Interesting.
Yeah. But I did some research, and I found some spell work where you could get them to fess up.
Oh, really?
Basically, as to whether they were telling the truth or not. And I did that, and they weren't. Only one was actually who they purported to be out of a group of like 5 of them. So I eventually cut ties with her, because it then ended up with a really cruel situation with her dog not getting the veterinary care and should do, because she was listening to them. It was just so, I look at that as being one of the greatest gifts, actually, because what it taught me about the need for psychic protection, what it taught me about the need for discernment, and what it taught me about the fact that not all beings out there are who they purport to be,
exactly,
or necessarily have your best interests at heart. Because I hadn't understood that. I was very naive, but my goodness, I'm not now.
My question, and you answered it already, but my question to you was going to be, we've already talked about Ouija boards and not knowing what's on the other side, kind of what's the difference? And obviously you've addressed that. So yeah, that's the worry with that too, because I often think, and I think this applies to many, many, what people term as ghosts. I think there are far fewer spirits of dead people out there than people think. Now, I think there are spirits, but I think there's a whole ecosystem of spirits who are willing to be anything you want them to be. Like, oh, you want me to be this person? And I base this on many things, but in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the big Civil War battle, supposed to be one of the most haunted places on earth. They could fight other places about that. I'm just telling you what their propaganda says. But in any case, there's many stories there that of these ghosts that they've identified, and then we've done the historical research, and they don't exist. These were people that never existed, and yet people are seeing them, and they're seeing them in these circumstances that someone at some point made up in time, And I think what it is there's other spirits out there that are happy to step into that role because for whatever reason they want interchange with us. I don't know why or what that gives them or anything, but I think that's the case. And I think especially when you're putting that kind of maybe importance or, I don't know necessarily the right word into what you're channeling, that maybe especially then somebody, oh yeah, I'll be, what do you want me to be? You want me to be someone from Atlantis? Sure. I'm so-and-so from Atlantis, and you can step into some trouble, I think, that way.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, I'm grateful for the experience now.
Yeah.
It was awful at the time because it did stretch on for a few years, but it certainly taught me a good lesson.
Did you have to do any sort of like banishment or protection from them, or would you just cut it off? We're done, and that was it?
Yeah, I did. But not for a couple of years did I realize that I needed to. And I sought someone out that was an expert at that sort of thing, and she helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 sessions with her, actually, very powerful sessions. And Archangel Michael was a big part of that as well.
One of the lessons that's coming through and what you're speaking is the autonomy over our physical and spiritual bodies that we have. And you are allowed to tell things, F off, leave me alone.
Yes.
And I often say this in terms of abduction stuff. I'm sure my listeners are tired of speaking, but to me, it's worth repeating. I can end it. I can end it every time when they come to me. I say the Hail Mary and it's done. I happen to be Catholic, but I want to note whenever I say that, it works across the board. You don't have to be Catholic. You don't have to be Christian. It works for all manner of spiritual practices. And I would imagine that if someone was an atheist and they just loved their grandmother, they could probably invoke their grandmother to the same effect. I don't know. I haven't read anything like that. But, Wiccans, Buddhists, it doesn't matter. But people are able to do this. And that to me says you have a sort of a spiritual autonomy and a power over your body.
Yes.
And you can tell these things no. But I think that's an important lesson for people to hear. You can say, no, we're not doing this.
Yes. And to be sure who you're dialoguing with or interacting with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's incredibly important. I really don't like predictions of the future in any way. Just being involved in what I do, I know a number of people who do tarot and everything else. I just don't tell me anything about my future. I don't want to know. My future will unravel as it unravels.
That's quite funny. I'm an astrologer.
I don't mind, tell me about my personality, tell me about my relationship. I have no problem with any of that. But the future, because I think just the way my mind works, I think it would be easy for me to get something in my subconscious and then start saying, oh, maybe that's what they were talking. Oh, no, maybe it was that. And then whatever. Yeah. It gets messy. But I especially tell people to beware of sort of predictions from the other, because in my experience, what tends to happen is, they'll get some things right, but they get things wrong, and you don't know that percentage. And the things they get wrong tend to be really wrong. And if you trust in every single thing that's coming across, it's like, I think you're setting yourself up.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And particularly if you don't know who it is you're dialoguing with in the first place, manipulation and lies seems to be one of their favorite things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes I don't necessarily know if there's an evilness behind it. I think sometimes they just want to kind of give you what you want to hear. And they'll just say anything to sort of, again, keep that interchange going, keep you coming back.
Yeah.
And once again, spirit contact of any kind is highly addictive. Once you get it, you want it again because it's so amazing. It is such an incredible, amazing thing. And it can be very addictive. And in that, a lot of people can get drawn into that. And, my advice there is to just take a break every now and then. Just walk away.
Yeah.
Go read some fiction. Like, get out of that for a while. And you can always come back to it. It's always going to be there. But just try not to get obsessed.
Something grounding instead.
Yeah, exactly. When that entity appeared, can you describe it?
Well, she was quite tall. Yes, a tall, attractive, slim woman, I guess. But those little dwarfs or something like little dwarfs, kind of goblin type creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiny. They didn't even, they were the height of the mattress kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Were they clothed?
Yeah, they were clothed, but I couldn't describe what they were wearing. I'm not sure that I took in what they were wearing, to be quite honest, because I was so freaked out.
I imagine so. It's pretty intense experience. And I woke up one time and the Greys were doing something to me. I didn't have any marks. I have no, to my knowledge, nothing like a, quote unquote implant, anything like. Did you have any marks or anything on your foot?
No, I did look, but I didn't. I couldn't see anything. So I've got no idea what they were doing or if there was any repercussions.
Yeah. And do you remember about how many dwarves there were? There
was 3 or 4 of these little beings with her. She was so much taller than them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. You get the old trope is the fairy queen and her attendants, right? Like whether it's really that or not, but that's what you get. One tall, and I had one taller. They were all short, but one was taller and 2 shorter ones. You get that kind of pattern, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. No, I wouldn't want to encounter them, and I certainly wouldn't. I didn't have any fairy folk vibe. Well, maybe they were fairy folk, and I don't know, but they didn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Whatever's going on there. Yeah. I don't trust anybody messing with me when I wake up. Not having it.
No, quite. But I will tell you about something that's really weird that happened to me. And I produced this myself, and I kind of, how would I describe this? I guess it's producing a vision through intensity of something I was doing. So what I'd done is I'd got a piece of paper and I'd written down, and I've got a lovely gold Posco pen, which is one of my favourite things to play with. It's like a painting tool.
Oh, they're fun. Yeah.
And I'd written down love and peace like 50 times on this little piece of black paper. And I'd put it on my altar behind. I've got this little clay model of a crone, which is something I treated myself to when I became 60. It's like celebrate my cronehood.
Sure.
So this little crone, so she doesn't represent any god or goddess to me or anything like that. She does just represent the crone for me and myself in my cronage. So I put the paper behind her on my altar. And a couple of nights later, I woke up and she was there in front of me. But as a person, but in the position, in the cross-legged position with the same blue cloak on over her head that the little figurine wears. But she was there like a projection in front of me. But she looked quite solid, actually. Mm. Now, that was freaky because I'd obviously produced her somewhere.
Yeah. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Really weird.
Did it look like a living being? Like, did it, as opposed to a statue, or did it just look like a big version of the figurine?
Between it did have an animacy about it, but it looked just like the statue.
And was this a frightening thing?
It was shocking because it was like, bloody hell, I didn't expect that, but it wasn't scary. No, it wasn't scary. Not at all.
Interesting.
But it was kind of, that's really weird. I've somehow produced this. Yeah. And I get these other things as well, and I call them my TV visions because they appear in what looks like a little TV screen in front of me.
Okay.
Probably about, what's that, about 3 foot in front of me. I've had a couple of them, and it is just like watching a TV, and this like rectangle appears. So again, I wake up and it's there in front of me, this rectangle. The first one, it was like this scene of there was this ginger cat on a farmhouse table in a farmhouse kitchen. Just this ginger cat wandering around, there was bits of crockery and stuff on the table, and it was just gently padding its way around the cutlery and stuff and crockery on the table. And then it just disappeared, and that was it. I thought, what on earth was all that about? I've got no idea. It didn't look like a kitchen I know. I don't know a cat that colour. It just had no relevance to me at all. And then the second time it happened, it was this scene where there was just all these people, and it looked like an ancient scene. It did look kind of like, I don't know, sort of Mesopotamia or something, a couple of thousand years ago. There are all these people. I must have been on a platform. My viewing level was like a platform height or something, because I'm looking down across all these people, and they're standing there clapping like this and cheering. It was just so bizarre. And then it just disappeared. I've got no idea what these things are, but they're so different in the way that they appear. It's literally like a little rectangle screen appears before me, and I get a little movie.
Huh. First of all, who knows? But I wonder, I wouldn't be shocked to the end of the world if at some point later in your life, you walk into that kitchen and have this incredible deja vu moment where you see this cat. And again, from talking to people, I have not had this experience, but talking to people who have had these, usually it's dreams. It's not the visions like you're seeing, but it's usually dreams. And they'll say like, my dream came true. And they'll tell me a lot of these things are not terribly significant moments in their lives. They're just very mundane things that for some reason they get this deja vu, sort of idea of, it's not like, now some of them precede sort of major events, but for the most part, and again, I haven't had a ton of them, just a few people that came on the show. From what I remember, it's like, it seemed almost purposeless. Like, why am I getting deja vus or these precog dreams or whatever they are of things, of these sort of very mundane moments,
Yes, yeah. The weird thing about it is, though, it definitely wasn't a dream. I was definitely awake, and because it is so amazing, it is like this screen just appears before me, and it's like, wow, how far out is that?
Yeah, no, that's super interesting, and that
drugs involved. Drugs involved.
That I've not heard before, and I guess my worry with that would be, I don't know, do you drive?
Yes, I do. Yes,
that would be like, what if it happens while I'm driving?
Yeah, that would be weird.
It'd be a distraction at the least,
Yeah, that would be very strange. It always happens at night, but I'm always wide awake. I'm just trying to think about the state of mind I'm in when it happened.
There is a non-zero chance that someone hears this and has this experience and contacts you. It happens so often where people, I've never heard that before, and then suddenly I'll start getting emails.
Yeah.
And people's like, yeah, I've had that, and that is one of the most amazing things about my job. Is when that happens, like, wow, like, so this is a thing, because I sort of knew Flannel Man was a thing before we did the shows on it. But then when I started getting all these accounts, it becomes this amazing, like, oh, wow, this is really a thing. Like, this is something that, people all over are experiencing. But even
what a service that is to enable people to recognize that actually I'm not going mad.
Mm-hmm.
there's other people out there that this is happening to. It is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I really do consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world that I get to do this as my job. It's a wonderful thing to me. And people say, oh, you're like a therapist. I'm happy to be that. If my kids call me the paranormal therapist, I'm fine with that because it's something I enjoy. And if I'm helping people in any way while I'm, enjoying this amazing job, then all the better. It's just very, very happy thing. So I have no problem with that. But yeah, we'll see. I have a feeling we're going to get other people who've had similar visions, like you're saying, with like screens. But we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, I look forward to hearing those.
Have we come to the end of yours?
Well, I mean, I can tell you about my near-death experience.
Yeah, we got a little time.
It's quite a mundane one, I guess, if such a thing could be called mundane. So when I was 15, for reasons I won't go into, I was rushed to hospital and I was dying. So I don't know if I actually died or not. I haven't got that information. According to my mum, they were fighting for my life for 6 hours. I don't know because I have no recall about it. But the strange thing is from what my mum said, is I was actually telling that I was talking through what I was going through in the ambulance. What I describe as my near-death experience, I was actually explaining it to my mum and the paramedic in the ambulance. I got no idea that I was doing that.
Right.
But basically, I was rising up through the night sky, and there were hundreds and thousands of beings all around me and so much love. And I just knew that I knew all of them. I knew who they were. I didn't know who they were, obviously, but I knew them. I just knew them. And there was all this love that I felt. And I was going up and I was going towards something. I don't know what it was, but all I could actually see was the stars and the night sky. But I know I was going up towards something. So that was my near-death experience. All that I really took from it was how much love there was.
Yeah. Do you think that possibly ancestors that were around?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think all the souls that I've known in the past, whether ancestors or whatever, but souls I've known in the past, and yes, they felt familiar to me.
Interesting. Wow. And did you have recall of this yourself, or did someone have to tell you what you were speaking?
No, I recall it. But when I told my mum about it, she said, "You told us about it." I said, "What do you mean? I told you about it?" She said, She said you was explaining what was happening to you.
Wow.
In the ambulance as they were trying to, fight for your life. And the ambulance, the paramedic was going, "Keep her awake. For goodness sake, don't let go. Keep her awake. Must keep her awake." So they obviously knew I was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was again, such a gift.
Yeah. Does that add a measure of peace to mortality in general? Yeah. Yeah.
It makes, I mean, I don't want to die yet. I don't feel ready for it, but I have no fear of it. I know what's on the other side.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's love.
That is a gift. That is a real gift, I think.
It is.
It
is. Yeah.
And that's a very nice place to end. Linda, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's nice to be able to tell these things, because it's not everybody you can talk to about it.
You may see Flannel Man again. And if you do, or if anything else strange happens, please, you know where to contact me.
I will. Thank you so much, Tim.
Strange Familiars is brought to you by our patrons. Everybody likes extra content. And if you like Strange Familiars and you want to get more Strange Familiars while helping us make the show, you can become a patron at Patreon. It's patreon.com/strangefamiliars. All of our patrons get commercial-free versions of the weekly shows, plus extra episodes monthly exclusive to our patrons. We promise one full episode of Strange Familiars for our patrons every month. Sometimes we do more. Our Patreon patrons also get to participate in an ongoing paranormal experiment. For more information on that, go to, once again, patreon.com/strangefamiliars. There's also an option at Apple Podcasts. Our Apple Podcast subscribers get the commercial-free shows weekly and the extra episodes monthly as well. Very soon, we'll be activating YouTube memberships. I know I keep saying that, but I'll get to it eventually. You can subscribe on YouTube, and that's free. Just go ahead and follow us. You click subscribe to the channel. That doesn't cost anything, and that does help us out. So even if you don't listen to the podcast or watch it on YouTube, please do that for us. But we'll be activating membership soon, and our YouTube members, basically, they're going to be getting the extra episodes monthly as well. And thanks to our patrons, no matter where they're signed up. All right, before we get to the curiosity of the week, I was walking last night, and all of this ties into some of my other theories about the paranormal and weird stuff. And I was talking to a friend, and I was telling her some, not deeply personal information, but just some thoughts I was having, some personal thoughts I was having. I was leaving her a voice message, a series of them. I'm walking up the hill where I walk at night, and as I'm doing this, I see this white globe, like a glowing white globe in the sky, and it went on an angle from the sky downward. Hard to tell if it was going across the sky or if it was coming down towards the ground. If it was a shooting star, it was unlike any other shooting star I've ever seen in my life. It was way bigger, and it didn't leave a trail behind it. There was no trail in its wake. I don't think it was a shooting star. It was really interesting looking. It just looked like this glass ball filled with light. Like it had a very clear kind of look to it, There was no distortion from the atmosphere or anything. And I was literally leaving the voice message for my friend. Her name's Tara. I was, Tara, I saw a UFO. I just saw a UFO. And I described it, and I was, very excited about it. And I hit send on that message, and it just disappeared. I had left her maybe 2 or 3 messages before that, and I left her 4 or 5 messages after that. None of those disappeared. The one where I said was describing the UFO when it happened at the time, as I hit send, it just disappeared. And I asked her, I said, please, if it shows up on your end, please send me that audio because I want it for the show. I would like to play that real time. It didn't show up on her end. I don't know what happened. The button to send the message is on one side of the phone. The button to delete it, if you don't want to send it, is on the other. I really don't think I hit the delete button. I hit the send button, and it just went away. Throughout the rest of my walk, I was very, very excited because I'd seen this UFO. I was very, very happy. And I'm walking, and then I notice, so I walk through basically these back alleys of town that are dark and so forth, partly because I'm a spooky guy.
You go where eagles dare.
And partly to avoid traffic because it's nighttime and I really don't want to be hit by cars.
Yeah.
So that's really, more of the reason. But, okay, this is going to get pretty...
Woo!
But I started noticing tapping. So this seemed like it was following me. I'd hear it on a fence. Tap, tap, tap as I walked by. And then I'd walk and then I'd go by a garage and I'd hear it on somebody's garage. Tap, tap. Not every single one, but maybe 2 to 3 times every block. And it seemed like it followed me for...
Like raindrops?
No, this was issuing this in the alley up here, there's that plastic kind of fence, a PVC fence.
Yeah.
I was walking by one of those and I actually stopped for a second to look at my phone, a message to come in or something. And it was literally as I stopped there, this tap happened right by my ear, and it kind of moved me along. I'm like, okay, I get it. And before that, there's a commercial building.
Yeah.
Further down that same alley. And I had stopped there too. And I stopped and it was a noise, so I'm guessing this happened for 10 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes, I don't know. And then it just stopped. I was worried about it following me home because I walk to another location every night before I come home. And it didn't. It just stopped. But it was weird. It was definitely weird. I don't know if that's related. Look, it could have been cold weather. Things were expanding, and naturally cracking. But it really did seem like it was following me as I walked. It was very strange. But the UFO, it wasn't as striking as the fireball in Indiana. But it was really neat. It was like this really I don't know, can you call something that's plain white pretty? Like it was really
Sure.
It was beautiful. Like it's just this beautiful, perfectly clear white orb in the sky. It was really striking, really striking. So that's my UFO just last night. Now I'll have to walk every night. I do walk almost every night, but it kind of drives me to get out there and I want to go look at the sky. Maybe it'll happen again. All right. Back to the curiosities of the week. We took a break for Albatwitch Day. This one's really neat. The Handbook of Physiology, Phrenology, and Physiognomy, I think.
Physiognomy.
Yeah.
We got a book.
It's a neat book, too.
Well, the outside it says how to read character with a descriptive chart. So the cool thing about it is that there's a lot of sort of handwritten notes in it, talking about specific people that I guess that they used as a...
Yeah, someone used this book. Basically, it's a phrenology book.
Yeah. So someone's used it and they've written in it. They must have been using it as a handbook to...
There's illustrations of different, sort of famous people and their head shapes and what they mean and what it tells about their character. But then there's all these handwritten notes, where somebody was using this book in pencil. So it's definitely used by some kind of phrenologist.
For the trades and professionals. And so in handwritten, it says, this young lady is brilliant, wonderfully quick as a flash, but most knowing, offhand, handy, versatile in talents, has memory, extraordinary. The handwriting is kind of difficult to read. Well, I'll let you read it. You can buy it and then you can read it and find out about the person they used.
But it's neat. When is that from? I'm guessing sometime in the 1800s.
I'm thinking 1880s. Either 1868 or 1888. I can't read it. It's too small. See, up there has it.
Ooh.
Either 1868 or 1888.
Wow. Apparently we're too old to read this. Yeah, and part of it's the printing.
Yeah.
It's either 1868 or 1888. I think it's 1868.
Or 65. Sometime between the end of the Civil War and...
Yeah, and the 1900s.
It's old. It's
so it's from
old.
the 1800s. Mm-hmm. It's a really neat book. I think especially neat because it has those notes in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, usually I do not like writing in my books, but a delineation of the character, physiological development, and present condition of Ellie Detweiler? It's something Detweiler.
Ella
Detweiler.
It was given by W.B. Eliot, October... Well, that says 1872 on it.
Yeah, so I think it's
1865,
1868, I think it is. I think the book's from 1868. This will be our curiosity of the week. This would be really cool for your collection of old medical stuff or maybe your cabinet of curiosities or anything like that. We almost kept it, but we just have too many books.
Yeah.
My powwow collection has expanded so much that we got to get rid of stuff. So this is really cool. This will be our curiosity of the week. I'll take a photo of that. I'll put it in the show notes. If you click on that, it'll take you to our Etsy shop where you can purchase that and other curiosities of the week, those that are left. Also at Etsy, artwork, originals and prints, including the artwork for tonight's episode, which if you look at the video, you probably saw me draw, assuming I get that done. My books are there. We have everything that's in print right now. We have restocks. If you get them from us on Etsy, they come signed. I'll sign them before we pack them up. You don't even have to ask. Strange Familiars t-shirts are there, including the new Swamp Creature t-shirt, patches, stickers, and more. Allison has some photos up there and other ephemera. Go ahead and check it out. Our shop name is Lost Grave, but if you type Strange Familiars in the search at Etsy, you should see our stuff come up. There's links in the show notes to almost every episode to our Etsy shop and at strangefamiliars.com as well. And a big thank you to everybody who supports us on Etsy. It's another way to get cool stuff and help us continue to make Strange Familiars. Make sure to sign up for Whatnot, everybody. Once again, John and I will be doing a big Whatnot show for High Strangeness Comics #2, which is coming out in early November. it has not only my cover on it, well, one of the versions, cover B is my artwork, but every version should have my essay in it on Bigfoot and High Strangeness, and I think some additional illustrations. I provided them with additional Bigfoot illustrations to go with my essay. I think they're going to use them, but I don't know, but I think so. I think they're going to use them. Again, that should be out in early November. John and I are going to do a Whatnot show. I'll do signings of the comic. I'll do original artwork. I might do some live drawing. I've done some drawings specifically for that Whatnot show. So it should be a fun time, a fun hangout. I'm looking forward to doing it. But make sure to get on Whatnot and follow Riverbend Comics on Whatnot. High Strangeness #1 is out. And I think it's a 4-issue series. So if you're a completist and you want to get the whole series, go ahead and pick that up. And you can get that at your local comic shop or from Riverbend. John's my local comic shop, and he does mail order. He's got a lot of customers that get all their comics from a mail order. riverbendcomics.com. And like I said, follow him on Whatnot. I think that's it. I think that's everything we have to announce this episode. I want to thank everybody again for coming out to Albatwitch Day, and thank you all for listening. We'll be back soon with more Strange Familiars. Strange Familiars is a production of Dark Holler Arts. Intro and background music is by Stone Breath. If you want to hear more or purchase music, you can go to stonebreath.bandcamp.com, where you can also find my 2 new albums, The Secret Heart of Hum and The Sacred Heart of Hum, both available on CD or download. If you get the CD, the download comes with it. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/strangefamiliars, where you can join the Strange Familiars gathering group. We're on Instagram @strangefamiliars, one word, no underscore. Make sure to give us a follow there, please. I want to feel like an influencer. For Strange Familiars merch, go to strangefamiliars.com/merch. For everything else, links to everything we do, go to strangefamiliars.com.
Let's speak of heart and of a broken thing. Here in the dark, oh, where the strange ones sing. Come and find me, please, all in the cold midnight. Kneeling on black earth, calling to earth white. Oh, just wait here, something is coming, all from the north. Another will fall tonight. Split the stone in two and tell me what you see. Something was destroyed and something was set free. I hear the words among the haunted trees. They will not hear, but I am listening. I followed the hum to my heart's home, a lonesome hole dug so long ago. Let's speak of hearts and of a buried thing. the strange one sing. Now just wait here at my heart's home. We'll follow the hum, a song sung long ago. Now just wait here at my heart's home. We'll follow the hum, a song sung long